Well, hello to you. Hope you're keeping cool on this first weekend of the summer. Welcome to your weekend wrap-up on THV 11 Plus. I am Hoyt. From state legislatures to around the country to the nation's capital, lawmakers are calling for increased security after a deadly shooting in Minnesota last weekend. Former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband both shot in what police are calling a politically motivated assassination. Another state senator and his spouse also shot. They will survive. Days later, though, police arrested the alleged shooter. And as the investigation learns more about his motives, THV 11's Catherine Rowley talked to local lawmakers about their safety concerns.
It is no exaggeration to say that his crimes are the stuff of nightmares.
Vance Belter is accused of killing Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband in their home. Then he went to State Senator John Huffman's home, shooting him and his wife. These attacks leaving shock waves across both sides of the aisle. Arkansas State Senator Kim Hammer says there is zero tolerance for this.
This is not who we are as a democracy, and this is not who we are specifically as Arkansans.
Representative Hammer said he feels safe inside the Capitol thanks to law enforcement there, but when they go home, that protection isn't the same.
The individuals that were killed, they were in the privacy of their home, and it does certainly sound the wake-up call that we have to be diligent.
Threats to our state's political figures are not a new thing to Arkansas.
I think all of our legislators live with the reality, given past history, because this is not the first time elected officials have been targeted.
In 2008, days before heading off to the Democratic National Convention, a gunman shot and killed State Party Chair Bill Gwatney in front of the party's headquarters. The shooter, Timothy Johnson, died after a long car chase and shootout with police. Then, in 2019, family found former Republican State Senator Linda Collins Smith stabbed in her driveway. A former campaign worker, Rebecca O'Donnell, would later plead guilty to her murder.
Unfortunately, this is history repeating itself, and I think because of that, all the legislators are very conscientious of their surroundings and are very protective of their families.
And from across the aisle, Little Rock House Rep Tara Shepard calling this weekend an unspeakable tragedy. In a statement, she told THV 11 in part, quote, "As citizens, we have to learn we can passionately disagree without turning to hate or violence." In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Catherine, thank you. And State Secretary of State Cole Jester also said in a statement that his office is expanding the state capitol police and strengthening their training regimen. A former Arkansas police chief pleading not guilty this week for his brazen escape from the North Central Prison Unit. Convicted murderer Grant Harden led authorities on a manhunt for nearly 2 weeks before getting caught less than 2 miles from the prison in the Ozark Mountains. He entered the not guilty plea on Zoom, and a judge set a trial for November. The Department of Corrections is also reviewing how he managed to escape and how to keep it from happening again. State police are sending out a warning for both kids and parents. We're just halfway through the year, and already the troopers are seeing a dramatic rise in sextortion reports. That's when criminals convince victims to share explicit photos and then threaten to share them if they don't meet demands. You see the numbers between 2024 and so far in 2025. Often those demands ask for money, but Sergeant Corwin Battle with State Police says a new trend is emerging.
There are sadistic groups that basically want these images so they can get these children to cause self-harm to themselves or do specific acts. They may be, cutting themselves, or just doing things with animals or other juveniles.
The troopers have so far seen more cases where boys fall victim, but that is starting to equal out when it comes to girls. Licensed counselor Rashida Moorer says parents and kids need to know the signs to look for when something's not right.
Younger kids, surprisingly, are more vocal about what has happened to them. With the older kids, they tend to isolate a little more. You'll see more signs of depression show up in the older kids, wanting to change environments.
If you notice any of these signs in your child, Moore says it's important to be receptive so they're comfortable opening up. A hotline is available on our website for anyone who's looking to report or get help with dealing with cases like this. Saline County officials are calling a town hall meeting this coming Monday to address animal control concerns following a deadly dog attack that killed a 15-year-old there. The girl from Alexander died trying to feed a pack of dogs kept on a property near her home. Benton Animal Control removed and euthanized 14 dogs after the attack. Frustrations have grown about the lack of dog catchers for unincorporated parts of Saline County. Some neighbors even saying they called about these specific dogs multiple times. In response, the public forum will be Monday night at 6 at Butler Auditorium at Benton High School. In one of the most viewed stories all week long on THV11.com, there's a new insect invasion in Arkansas, and experts warn it could pose a risk to your health. THV11's Maya Ellison gives us a closer look at the Asian needle ant and shows us why you probably want to avoid them.
Hammerhead worms were the talk of the town last month. Now they've got a little company.
They're quarter inch, a little more. They're brown to blackish. They're very similar to the fire ant in shapes and size, but not quite as red as the fire ant.
What Curry's Termite and Pest Control co-owner Scott Penny is referring to is the Asian needle ant. These small but mighty creatures are native to East Asia. They've been spotted by experts nationwide in states across the country, including here in Arkansas.
Places in southwest Arkansas that's having to deal with it, but we haven't had to deal with it up here too much yet. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, they're dealing with it quite a bit.
Now, this ant is not like your typical species native to Arkansas. Experts say they're less aggressive than the fire ants, but they come with an intense sting that could be deadly. According to the National Pest Management Association, if you come across one, the pain is long-lasting, triggering allergic reactions like anaphylaxis.
The needle ant seems to have a venom that does that more readily than other stinging insects. And I think that's kind of the caution that we've got. We watch for respiratory distress.
And you'll typically find this ant in residential areas, hiding under rocks and in mulch.
Logs, trees, falling down trees, leaf piles.
Even in damp areas near your home or inside. That's why experts like Penny say prevention is key to keep these pests away. How would you go about treating a type of ant like this?
Probably gonna do some baiting for them. We bait for fire ants. That's our most effective treatment. And so we're probably gonna deal with it the same way.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
The Arkansas Razorbacks baseball season has come to an end. Fans watching the team's College World Series dreams end dramatically and disturbingly Wednesday night in Omaha. The team, though, has returned home to Fayetteville Thursday, and they had a crowd of Razorback fans on hand to welcome a team that really provided so many memorable moments this season. Thinking about next year, though, may feel like an impossibility, but head coach Dave Van Horn is indeed looking forward.
You just learn how to do it. It's just what you do, and you start fighting to get back here. I mean, every time we have recruits in the fall, and then you're thinking about when they get here down the road and how that's going to fill in there, and then we lose one in the draft, and we lose that one in the draft, and then we get one out of the portal, and then here we go. And then when school starts, that's what you got.
Celebrating's much more fun, and Central Arkansas did that this week for Juneteenth. June 19th is the federal holiday that marks the moment when word reached the last enslaved people in the United States that they had been freed. Little Rock hosting the 16th annual Juneteenth Into Rock celebration this weekend. It's on Saturday. Hope you can join us because THV11 is a proud media sponsor. But the holiday is more than just a day off. It's a chance for all Americans to mark the continuing fight for equality. THV11's Tamer Knight puts a spotlight on the history and importance of this festive day.
We hold tight that date of June 19th, 1865, even though we know across the country liberation and freedom happened at different times.
While the Juneteenth holiday is tied to that one historic date, the end of slavery and the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation was the end of a long journey.
It's not an immediate, direct freedom that happens on June 19th, 1865. It's movement and progress over the course of 2 years, with that ending June 19th, 1865. So when those who were enslaved in Galveston, Texas, hear the news, there's celebration across the country.
It's a day of celebration across the nation, highlighting the culture, history, and traditions of African Americans.
Culture is who we are as a people, who we are as a community. Those are the things about us that don't really change.
And traditions that have held true.
So to sharing our stories in intimate spaces like barbershops and beauty salons, to our music that we've seen progress, R&B, soul, blues, jazz, to the food that we eat. These are the inherently important traditions that make up the celebratory experiences of Juneteenth that we take with us.
In Arkansas, that history runs deep. From the first segregated schools to the courage of the Little Rock Nine in 1957.
These were some of the very first schools that we saw that were built, that were segregated schools for children of color. And then, of course, we see the progression forward to 1957 and the Little Rock Nine, the first Black students to go to Central High School.
While Juneteenth became a federal holiday in 2021, the state of Arkansas made strides early on, officially recognizing Juneteenth in 2005.
The amazing and beautiful thing about our community is we've always celebrated Juneteenth. We've always celebrated emancipation. We've always celebrated Freedom Day.
From family events to festivals, there are so many ways to celebrate. One of the easiest, the color red, rooted in West African culture, symbolizing survival, struggle, and liberation.
And so if communities or families want to know how to celebrate Juneteenth, one of the great things they can do on the day is making sure that they're using red, that they're infusing red, whether they're wearing it, cooking with it, watermelon, food, a red velvet cake. A lot of those things are really traditional that we do in terms of how we celebrate Juneteenth.
Damer Knight, thank you. A leading timber company is expanding its roots in the natural state. Up next, we've got details from the groundbreaking of their new facility. Stick with us. Plus, a pair of Central High grads pushing each other to keep climbing. We'll show you how they're taking their skills to a national stage with even bigger goals ahead. All when your weekend wrap-up continues on TH11+. To Southeast Arkansas, big things on the way. Weyerhaeuser, the Washington-based timber company, is keeping its 69-year legacy here in Arkansas going. They broke ground this week on another facility south in Monticello, bringing a massive economic impact to that close-knit community. And TH11's Maya Ellison gives us a look at what they're planning.
From timber production to agriculture, Monticello has built its name on hard work. But now, add home of Weyerhaeuser Timber Strand facility to the mix.
The reason we're sitting here today in Monticello, Arkansas, and not somewhere else, is because of that support and that engagement that we've had from our friends in the legislature, the economic development team, the governor's office. They've all made us feel very welcome.
3, 2, 1, shovel.
The Washington-based company is investing $500 million into its very first timber strand facility in America. And that kind of project means a major economic boost, bringing over 200 jobs to the area.
This new company is going to be a boost, I think, to our local economy, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's Cindy Rawls. She owns Discount Merchandise downtown. For 22 years, she's watched companies come and go, often leaving her disappointed, but this time feels different.
I was excited to hear of it, and construction people that will boost the local economy, not mine necessarily, but the hotels, RV parks, restaurants, all that. Yeah, so it's all going to be good.
Just down Highway 425 is Chef's, where Rawls likes to start her mornings. Its location makes it a prime spot for newcomers to grab a bite. Full tables and a busy kitchen show business is already booming.
3 bang bang coming up.
Owner Brian Alexander says he's ready for the rush.
All those construction workers have to have places to eat, sleep, and whatnot. And, you know, it's going to be good for the town.
Even customers are optimistic, hoping this new addition will bring more than just jobs.
We want more companies down here. We want more jobs down here so that more families can stay and more families can move in.
In Monticello, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Maya, thank you. The facility is expected to begin operations by 2027 as construction gets kicked off this year. In another first, the Arkansas Healthcare Association School of Nursing opened a much-needed new facility this week. The goal, teaching people who are already caring for patients to become licensed nurses. The program targets certified nursing assistants, those CNAs you see, especially those working in long-term care facilities. It helps them climb the career ladder while they continue working part-time. And the best part is
this will be at no cost to the students, so it's supported completely by grants and employer partnerships. So it's the first of its kind in the nation to take existing workers in long-term care facilities and upskill them to become nurses.
And they will do this at 3 locations, Little Rock, Rogers, and Jonesboro. The schools hope to address a long-standing nursing shortage that got worse through the COVID-19 pandemic. Big changes coming for Rock Region Metro riders next month. For the first time since before the pandemic, all fixed route bus schedules are being updated, and some routes will run less often. Starting Monday, July 28th, service will be reduced on many of those routes. And now officials are not calling this a coverage cut. They're saying they're adjusting to a growing shortage of drivers. Rock Region Metro says they've lost nearly 20% of those operators just in the last 5 months.
We're already having to cut service on an emergency basis almost every day. And so the hope is that these service reductions will stabilize the service so we don't have to make day of cuts so people can better plan their commutes in the future.
And the agency says no routes are going away completely, and they encourage riders to check the new schedules online. Graduates from Little Rock Central are famous for reaching great heights. We've got a couple of them right here at THV 11. Well, 2 recent grads are literally climbing to join them. THV 11's Brooke Buckner introduces us to buddies with their sights set on a national rock climbing title.
I don't know where I'd be without climbing.
Grayson Smith and Walker Lampley go way back and have helped each other grow in the sport of climbing.
Having Walker to train with and against has been really helpful, and I don't know, I would not have felt pressure to get better.
At the end of this month, these buddies will compete against each other in the national championship, but they're not afraid of some friendly competition.
At the end of the day, I'm very happy for him, and even at regionals, he beat me. He got second, and I got third.
At divisionals too.
At that's what I meant. At divisionals, it was a great feeling. We were both podium, and I love that.
Now they're practicing together leading up to nationals and remembering to have some fun along the way.
I'm here about 4 to 5 days a week. Right now I'm focusing on new moves. I'm trying to expose myself to as many different variations of everything, especially slab.
And for Walker, his focus is on endurance.
So I'm climbing about the same amount of time, but it's different kinds of climbing. So I'm staying on the wall for really long periods of time.
They say these challenges keep them both wanting more.
At the end of the day, we're doing this because we love it, and we both want to be our best versions of ourselves, best climbers we can be. And so that doesn't have anything to do with how we place.
Soaking in all the moments before taking on a new chapter at different colleges.
I'm going to Colorado State next year. I'm going to continue climbing, and hopefully becoming pro is something I want to do. We'll see where it takes me.
I'm going to the University of Arkansas, and I will probably be the only collegiate climber there, which is kind of cool. We'll hopefully be able to both go to nationals for the collegiate side of things, and so we'll kind of meet up there, so that'll be cool.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
Brooke, thank you. The competition will be held in Portland, Oregon, June 27th through July 2nd, and there are 24 different championships up for grabs, so hopefully both can get back to Arkansas with some trophies. Still to come on your weekend wrap-up, we're highlighting Arkansas music artists taking their natural state sound to Grammy stages and opera halls around the world. THE11 celebrating Black Music Month, shining a light on the voices, venues, and victories rooted right here in Arkansas. This week, in part 2 of our series, THE11's Journey Taylor takes a closer look at the legacy of black music in this state and how its history is still being written.
We took you through the roots, from the roads of the Delta Blues to the Chitlin Circuit and the sounds that once filled Little Rock's West 9th Street. But Arkansas's story in black music doesn't end in the past. It continues to resonate on global stages to this day.
I still have you.
Growing up in Arkansas has been probably the most valuable attribute or quality that I can boast of.
One of those artists is Grammy-winning gospel singer Smokey Norfolk. Raised in Pine Bluff, his soulful sound has reached audiences around the world.
I count it an honor to be able to, first of all, just be from Arkansas, needless to say, but also to be able to do that and represent gospel music, more importantly, the God of gospel music. That is the most important thing, most powerful thing that I think anybody could ever do. So I am honored and humbled every time. It doesn't matter whether it's from my local stage in Pine Bluff, Arkansas as a teenager, all the way to the convention center of Pine Bluff and then, to the Grammys.
Like Norfolk, many black musicians from Arkansas found their foundation in the church, where spirituality and sound often walk hand in hand. But that spiritual start can lead to vastly different stages.
My name is Kristen Lewis. I'm an international opera singer.
From church pews to concert halls in Europe, her voice carries not just notes, but her Arkansas pride everywhere she goes.
Just believe in yourself. Don't allow for anything to stand in your way. Being from Arkansas is not a drawback in any way. I'm proof of that. Arkansas has a great history of wonderful musicians. There are other famous opera singers from Arkansas, so I'm following in a very strong legacy, and I'm very proud of that as well. And I'm glad to represent the state of Arkansas globally.
While Kristen found a global stage to share her natural state influences, another Arkansas native discovered a deeper appreciation for the musical impact of his hometown.
My name is Epiphany Morrow. Most folks call me Piff because they don't like all those syllables. And I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but also rep very hard for Little Rock too.
And even with the name known across the country and around the world, Epiphany Morrow says home is always in his sound.
That's how you get down, chilling with them extra regular. Hello, bros, that's in the leaf for trailing us.
When I really got immersed in music, it was so many different artists across the country and the world. And it was then almost retroactively going back and understanding like where their sound originally came from. And then understanding that place of where I came from. And then kind of like getting the pride and boasting from that.
The music he grew up on, rooted in the Delta, influences more than his style.
I almost didn't understand or recognize the influence of the Delta till I left. If you look at like blues, it arguably influenced all music henceforth in America, right? So I think now more than ever, people are tracing back culture and tracing back history. You can't not come through the Delta. You can't not stop through Arkansas.
And that's why he continues to uplift, create, and celebrate with pride.
So good, so good, so good, got me feeling like.
To me, it's very much of understanding that this music that came from us has been a method of enduring and empowerment in a sense of like strength, like I need to share my story because it's been so hard and we're trying to figure it out. But it's also been a thing of like celebration and exaltation of the fact of like how great we are, right?
A feeling that resonates across genres and proof that black music in Arkansas isn't just history. It's a living, beating, moving legacy. A celebration of sound.
But now I'm out here, know why, 'cause ain't a brother like me.
The trials we've undergone as black people and the fact we overcome so much and put out so much dope, that is why we celebrate.
Nah, there ain't a brother like, there ain't a brother like, there ain't a brother like me.
Journey Taylor, and be sure to join us next week as Journey and her producer Keyshawn Moore sit down with several current artists, finding out that many are intertwined, both working together and cheering each other on. That's Monday morning on Wake Up Central. And that'll do it for the weekend wrap-up here on THV 11 Plus. I am Rolly Hoyt. Thank you for joining us.